Hello and welcome to Supernatural Lifeline Revelations. I'm your host, Taryn Nicole Tarver, and we are here today with Dr. Bishop Ed Smith. Now, today we are going to be talking about the transformation that's going on with the torch, how it's passing on, but we're also talking about change. So he's been using this year to talk about God is doing a new thing. So we want to talk about that new thing because if you are anywhere in the world, you know a new thing has to happen within you right now. So I love how the word tells us that, behold, God is doing a new thing. And if he even told you, it would make your ears tingle. You didn't know you were going to move into these great things and the shifts were going to come. You have to really begin to know your God and know that he's going to do great and mighty exploits through you. So I'm super excited to have him here today. Many in the past have known him at the pastor of Zoe Christian Fellowship. He has now passed that torch on to his son, and he is now the pastor, Joshua Smith, there, and he is now looking at the Nehemiah project, and they're doing some great things. We're going to talk about that, as well as the bishop over Zoe Associate International. Mm-hmm. So they have expanded, and I'm loving that. So he's the founder, of course, like I said, of Zoe Christian Fellowship of Whittier and Multicultural Church, which is located in Whittier, California. And it's a strong focus on helping people to change their lives and God kingdom purpose and mission. So Antioch Mission International is a division of Zoe, and where they've been able to help over 3,000 people in short-term missions. And I have some people that I've been connected with. They've been able to go out on missions. I've known some people that have launched from this particular church. It helped me. It's an honor for me to be here today to actually sit here with him and have a talk with him because he's impacted my life for the last 17 years and didn't even know it. So you imagine you're impacting people and you don't know it. So I can tell him about things that he knows. I had to have been there to know them, but he didn't know. He was just doing his purpose. So we want you to be in purpose. Today you are at the right place at the right time. You're doing the right thing, and this is a divine connection. So Dr. Ed, we want to welcome you. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I love it.
Absolutely. This is so, in the shifting during the pandemic, a lot of people are trying to find their way. Mm-hmm. And a lot of churches have been, at first they're trying to figure out how do we do this thing, but you have seen an increase. I've seen an increase because people are looking for answers and they're coming to the church for answers. And you've been able to have those answers. But it was a solid foundation. From the second that I met you, you were always about planning, organization, execution. And so I really liked the fact that you have literally been able to stay on track with your plans and your purpose and in pursuit of those things. How were you able to do that during the pandemic and raise up an army where now you're actually better than you were when you started?
Well, to be quite honest, I planned for where I'm at today probably many years ago. Even the transition, I started probably about 15 years ago.
Yes.
Talking to our board, vision, let them know I'm looking at transition because I wanted to go well. I didn't want to be preaching at a very old age and people are saying, isn't it time for you to leave now? And so I decided that I would plan and do everything to be planned. God planned for us.
Wow, come on.
So if God planned for us, not just for Adam and Eve, but for the generations yet to come. So I'm planning for generations yet to come. So my son came in and he's talking about 4G, 4 generations. So you have me, him, his grandchildren, and then their children.
Wow.
And so we want the whole congregation. We're teaching the whole congregation. I've been teaching legacy, people getting living trust to begin to have assets. So otherwise our children have to start all over again.
Yes, absolutely.
So they should get kickstarts in life. And then build relationships. Part of my next season is to expand upon the relationships that I've established over 30-some years, really 40 years of ministry. I've been pastoring 30 years. And so to me, I prepared for it. So when this pandemic happened, it wasn't a problem for me. I was beginning to seek God and listen to him. And one of the things he birthed with our association and through our Nehemiah project is the Nehemiah Film Festival. How do we get the word out globally? Because working with former foster kids in our Nehemiah Project LA, God says take care of the widows and the orphans.
Absolutely.
Well, these kids are orphans. When they finish foster care, especially in the United States,
they're just thrown out there.
They're literally thrown out there.
Yeah.
They're like a bag, and this is your stuff. You got to go.
Here's a few dollars.
I don't get a check from you anymore. You got to go. And they're already hurting because they don't know where their parents are. They feel their parents didn't want them. And then there can be drama in their family.
So it's bridging a gap that's out there and actually helping the entire society and giving an answer.
Big time.
This is really good.
Yeah.
This is excellent.
We've been doing this for a number of years after I became a bishop in 2016. But now that my son is lead pastor, and now I'm released to do more. And now, so we're looking at acquiring properties to be able to manage their success.
Yes.
Right now, we've been working with former foster kids, and they put them in housing, get them off the street. But that's just enough, because what happens, they may stay there for a few years and then they're on the street again, because they have not learned to manage their life and fulfill a vision and purpose. So we realize if we have a home that's nice, remodeled, looks good, they said, this is for me, this is for you.
This is for you.
And help them. Now we have kids that are married.
Yes.
And I call them kids, but they're young adults.
Yeah.
They're married, they have children,
Yes.
and they're buying houses.
See, okay, this is so divine today, because literally, my family's been successful in athletics. My parents taught us when we were little. It's not if you're going to college, it's where you're going to college. It's everybody's an athlete. I mean, if you look up the Tarver name, from boxing to football to basketball, it's everywhere. So that was our inheritance. So I was saying to my brother, who works with, he works in a major NBA players. He runs their foundation, and he thought I was talking about their foundation. I said, hey, we need to do an orphanage. We need to own an orphanage. My brother goes, what? And he goes, well, the foundation's already doing a lot. I said, no, I'm not talking about their foundation. I'm saying the Tarver, our last name is Leader, foundation. I said, one day I said, I want to take on some children. And the Lord said, you can't do that. I said, why, Lord? He said, because you travel too much and that child will be attached to you and you can't make them feel abandoned. And so your children know you're going and coming back. They know they're loved. They know that, they're used to this process. And he said, you can't do it. He said, but this is what you can do. So my father taught us with sports, he found our gifts, our talents. So I kind of saw myself immediately with this facility, with homes that actually was training them in arts, training them, finding their gift. Because my dad taught us to find our sports gift or our niche. And so if you find their gift, cultivate their gift, build them up, get amazing teachers, show them how amazing they are, treat them awesome, heal those hurts, use the power of God. And I was like, and then they're set, because no matter what, you have your gift inside of you. You know that you've excelled in that area, whether it's singing, writing, typing, whatever it is, dance. Let's just let them know how amazing they are and build from there. And my brother was like, wow, this is really good. So he's like, I said, so I'm going to go get certified just so I can go through the process. I started saying, let me figure out a process. So I want to be a part of that bridging the gap. And I didn't know where to start, but I just thought, let's do what Dad did for us. I love this, because I really feel like people just need an opportunity, and they do need healing, but we have that. You have a healing ministry, definite healing ministry. But not only healing, to make people whole, because there's a difference between just being healed and made whole.
Well, that's where, we're spirit, soul, and body, and to be made whole, all three parts got to be healed. And that's what you just talked about, oftentimes, be made whole. And so Jesus said, I came to heal the brokenhearted. Although he did a lot of physical healing, he's noted for the physical healings, but the focus is the heart, because if the heart's not right, then the body's not going to function well.
Bishop, I realistically, I look at you with so much respect. I'm like, he's a doctor, lawyer, bishop. I told you the first time I saw you, I said, he looked like a wealth building banker, because he was giving so much wealth information for us. I was like, he's a pastor, and I loved you instantaneously. So Bishop, listen, I was thinking right now when you were talking about when Jesus healed the lepers. He healed them, but he only gave them enough. He didn't make them whole. But with the one that came back, he said, were there not 9 others that were healed? The other ones just went off with this little piece of it. Right. God gives you enough where you got to come back, because you should be mentored.
Yeah,
and the one that came back, he said, now you will be made whole. So now he got made whole when they could have all been made whole. So I love that, we need this mentorship. Yeah. We need this training.
We got to grow.
I can't get it if you don't give it to me.
That's it.
Elisha cannot become Elijah unless he has an Elijah. Moses has to pass the torch to Joshua, but it comes through servants. It comes through helping. It comes through volunteering. And I'm like, even when I was so excited you're going to be on the show, I'm like, what can I learn today from this man? You cannot leave here with all this wealth of information and not have shared some with me today of how you got to this place and how you're able to execute these projects so successfully and impact lives.
Well, it's still relationships. When I became bishop, in fact, before I became bishop and got installed, my former secretary, who got birthed out of our ministry to start her own ministry, Josie Martin, the Lord put in my heart to ask her to help me. I said, "Don, talk to your husband first." He said, I said, "Pray about it and talk to your husband." And she said, "I'll pray about it, but my husband, he's going to be good." And so, make a long story short, she's my administrator. And so we have people with their own ministries, own businesses that partner with us because of the clarity of the vision. So, and the key is how they serve you. They see themselves in your vision.
Oh, this is wonderful.
But if it's not clear, they can't see themselves in your vision. They don't know, okay, it's nice, I'm excited, or they're just kind of just running behind you, and they don't get the impartation they need.
Yes.
When they see themselves in your vision, they go after it, and they're willing to be a part. And so it's very powerful. So we have a lot of collaborating partners with Nehemiah, but it's not just with Nehemiah. I do the same thing in everything I do.
See?
Everything. It's God's way. Jesus says in Ephesians, every joint supplies causes increase. So I have something that supplies for you, there's something that supplies for me, and likewise in this room.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so when we tap into it, I'm not able to do all that God's called me to do without tapping into the people that at the right time, obviously, you can't tap into everybody at one time.
Right.
But they're able to be there. So relationship, not just building, but maintaining. Now, in my mind, I'm not doing it to be a groupie and, what can I get out of you and all that. I let it be genuine, okay? And because if it's not genuine, then people pick up on it. They just pass the business cards and contacts and whatever, ask them stuff, and don't even really know you. But my point is when you start understanding one another,
right,
now you get invited. Okay, I want to be a part of that. Or can you be a part of this? And now you start seeing, and you say, well, hey, we can do this together. Like I mentioned about the foster kids.
Yes.
I wasn't sure I mentioned them at all because I wasn't sure what you want to talk about.
Right.
Now it's on your heart to work with these kids.
Yes.
All that is because of I took time to come out here not knowing, but being open because I know that's how God operates. Too many people stay in their silos. They may be good at it. But they don't. But God said, "Be fruitful and multiply." See, He told Adam to be fruitful and multiply. And see, it takes work to multiply, more work than being fruitful. See, I can be fruitful by myself. Okay, and I work hard, and it's excellent. But what about when you can't do it no more? What about when you're doing well, but you expand your footprint? Okay, and you're in other countries. It's the whole idea of franchising is a biblical concept.
Come on.
It's a biblical concept. Multi-church locations is a biblical concept. Or a spiritual son, a spiritual daughter.
Absolutely.
Biblical concept. And so it's work, will they represent me properly? It's not your job to do that. Let them operate in their lane. Let them receive. In fact, I didn't know I was a church planner. I wasn't planning on, it wasn't part of my thinking. But churches were being birthed out of our church for years, businesses. People are head of executives of Fortune 100 companies.
Yes.
Because of teaching them to be leaders, and I call them the A-team, and to walk in God's purpose. So now, as I do stuff, I see what you're doing, Bishop, on Facebook. I can help you. You need to talk to, and all based
Divine
on
connections,
relationships.
just relationships.
And these are kids who grew up in our church.
And I love the things that you're saying. Like you said, I just wanted to be in the room. I just wanted to learn. You told me, I just want to learn from you. You didn't come to take, you just want to learn, you just wanted to talk. And I think that was such an amazing concept because literally, even when young people are there's, Generation Z, they're X, and you can see they're very technologically savvy, but they lack the maturity. They've got to get that from being connected and joined with someone who has experience.
Right.
And that's where you carry this experience and you're able to actually impact and give vision. Because look at what your son is doing. He's still doing your prayer meetings because the foundation was built on it. Look at the transformation in the church. It's excelled, 96% now? You said how much it went from what to what during the pandemic?
Oh, we won more than 280% people won to Christ in the prior year.
than the prior year
Yeah,
in the midst of
and
this.
then our income is significantly up. In fact, our
Right.
cash is up higher than it's ever been.
And it's been the same with my ministry and my business. And I love that you've always promoted marketplace ministry, where that's our place to really just pull in the saints, pull in the souls,
Right.
and bring them in. What does your daily routine look like? Do you have a morning routine that you do for success that God has given you when you're planning and thinking, imparting, getting the plan together, writing the vision? How does that come to you?
Good question. My morning starts early. I'm in and out of the bed oftentimes. I'm thinking, God's speaking to me. I write it down, go to the restroom, but I come back and go to sleep and wake up again. But when I get out of bed, I normally, my wife is up earlier than me. She's out there walking. And
Wow.
so I go out and do a walk a little later and just stay fit. But I'm praying, I'm thinking about things. I'm praying some worship music on, but I'm praying a lot in tongues. And just allowing God to, you see, in Romans 8, 26, 27, and 28, it talks about we know not what to pray for as we ought.
Right.
So God is saying, you ought to be praying about some things, but you don't know to pray about it.
Right.
And those things you should be praying about every facet of life.
Absolutely.
And then second verse, but the Spirit himself maketh intercession for us
Yes.
with the groanings which cannot be spoken in articulate speech or tongues, only in tongues, not in regular language. And then the
Absolutely.
28th verse is the one we like to quote, but it's got time into the verse too. Once I allow the Holy Spirit to pray about things I need to pray about but don't know to pray about, so God's making a way. He's connecting the people, bringing the resources. And people say, call this person, and they'll call you. Then all things work together for good to them that love God and them who are called according to his purpose. And so even the mishaps, even the problems, all that works together. God, I love God, the way he thinks and where he operates. He don't waste nothing.
I love it. He uses it all.
He uses it all. And we should use it.
This has been, I literally in the last, I would say 12 months have increased my praying in the Spirit 1,000%. I've never prayed more in the Spirit than I have now. And it has prospered me and directed my life in a way that I never thought it could be unlocked. And I want to tell you that Bishop Smith has a book, The Power of Praying Tongues, in Tongues. And so you want to look up Edward A. Smith, and it's on Amazon. And literally, he also has Fruitfulness, 7 Secrets for Getting More Out of Your Life. And I know you're trying to get more out of your life. He's literally done that. I mean, if you're not trying to get more, something's wrong. Get better to your best gets best and best gets better. We got to get that better. So I love this because tongues has transformed my life. It really has. And I've had more direction. I've seen answers come quicker. I've had more guidance. I just finished praying in the Spirit, and all of a sudden the answer comes to me very quickly.
Because what happens, you're praying in, it's a multifaceted. You're praying in things you need, people into your life, God speaking to them, because God has people that's designed into each phase of our lives. But also resources. And whether there need to be a transition, how that should be done the best way. So our transition with my son was just seamless.
Wow.
Okay.
I love this.
And it was just how God worked it out. It was powerful. And so...
What does that feel like? To have your son do everything you had hoped for, planned, your child pick up, and what does that feeling feel like?
It feels good. It feels good. I feel released, but I feel apart. I mean, he engages me. I'm on the board. I'm still involved. In fact, he'll come by and talk with me about things he's looking at doing, give my counsel. If I see some things I think he may consider, I'll text him and talk to him about it. But I'm not trying to run it. I want him to take it another level. But we're turning out to be a real good team, to be quite honest.
This is great.
Collaborating, bouncing ideas, because he's thinking more like me, because he's a professor in training. And so he's thinking more entrepreneurial, and he's leading strongly. Because I was very intentional. I'm a very intentional leader. So he's doing the same thing.
So let's talk about doing, I will do a new thing.
Okay.
What is the concept that you've been speaking? What is this word, the prophetic word God has been giving you for this season with the new thing?
Well, first, it's based in Isaiah 43, verse 19. God said, "Behold, I will do a new thing, and will you not know it?" See, he's doing a new thing, whether you know it or not. He's saying, "Will you know it?" And that's the big issue, because the new thing is not just new. It could be innovation. It could be a new community. It could be expanded market. It could be new, all of that, but it's new. Then he says, I'll make a river in the desert, and I'll make a way in the wilderness. It's still a wilderness, and it's still a desert, chaos out there, but it's new. You're gonna go down on a boat, if you would, in the river in the desert.
Absolutely, okay? I see it
completely. And then you have the road where it's all these big trees and foliage and stuff. You can't see too well all these trees, but you can be able to see your way because there's a road there. God made a way. So the new thing will be, where'd you come from? How did that happen? It's almost like people get jealous. Well, who gave you permission? I don't wait on permission. I got it from God already. He said, be fruitful and multiply. And so when I think about that, I encourage people to think about what is God doing and speaking to you. We all have a place.
Absolutely.
You don't have to duplicate, and that's nice on TV. That's nice what he's doing, she's doing. Unless there's a witness and clarity, I just celebrate with them.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But I need to be focusing on what God's called me to do.
Absolutely.
And so that's the focus. And so one of the things he's I've always had a healing ministry in our church, and in fact, I've been playing some of the most recent, not most recent, some of the old posts on Facebook, some of the cancer healings, miracles. Of one young lady was shot 12 times, and she's lived to tell about it, and could walk around, but she's arms are all shot up. One lady, here's one. About a year or so ago, I'm doing Bible study. And then one lady dismissed. One lady said, "Oh, Pastor, we pray for this, my friend. She has a tumor, and she's gonna have an operation tomorrow." And I said, "Okay." And I didn't got her name, and I just prayed that she'd be whole and healed in the name of Jesus. I'm not against pray that God works through the doctor and all that. That's nice. Right. I'm praying for healing and totally whole and tumors.
Absolutely.
So we have a 5 o'clock leadership prayer we touched base, and then she called me later. She said, "Bishop, my friend called me, and she said they did an examination before the operation. She had a tumor, big tumor. They said it was gone." And so I had her. She was in Las Vegas.
Right.
So I said, "Can you have her come by and drive down to L.A. and Whittier and share her testimony Sunday morning?" And she did. It's powerful.
So awesome. I have to
so the healing is huge. The healing ministry is huge, and that's my next season. All that I do, I'm bringing healing.
Healing. I love this. And there's a lot of healing going on right now. It's needed. Direction is needed. Yeah. And people are looking for good leadership, and that leadership they can trust that has been tried, proven, and dedicated. And that's where, for myself, it says that the older should train the younger. And I'm always looking for to be flexible and to grow and to learn. And because everything I've learned from somebody else.
Oh, come on.
And right now, this passing of the torch, the wisdom that's here, there's only wisdom if you take the knowledge and apply it. Does not work unless we apply this. You can give me and hope for me all day long, unless I'm going to take what you've said, apply it to my life. I can get the same things that you got.
Let me just say this. I know time is about out, but for the young people who kind of waiting for people that are in position to leave, because their time is up, and give you an opportunity. No, you have to serve your way there. Yes. Joshua served Moses, and the mantle fell on him. That is a biblical pattern, and so. If you're waiting or upset, and you maybe you should be a part of that, but you're not willing to serve because you need to learn. We all need to learn. That's why I chased men of God and women of God, my wife and I. We chase and develop relationships, and we're gleaning from dinner. We're gleaning at their house. We're gleaning when they speak into crowds. We're gleaning. So we're learning, and we're learning the backstory. So that's how you get to where God has, and the mantle can be passed, because you're in position, because you served your way to be in the right position at the right time.
I love what you're saying, Bishop. Last night, my pastor opened a new church, and we didn't even know what to expect in the middle of a pandemic. $8 million building. We raised $5 million in 2 months online, and we show up and we open the doors, but all of a sudden I have a full ministry. They're all there to serve. We found places to serve because there was so much to do. And so we literally created opportunities. And last night we got home at 2:30 in the morning because I'm picking up stuff off the floor. And they're like, Prophetess, you're associate pastor. I can outrun any of them because I'm serving the man of God still. Mm-hmm. I'm here to serve. Right. And so they said, you have taken service to a whole nother level. But I'm saying, this is how I got to know the Bob Joneses. This is how I learned the Kim Clements. This is how God is always, if you get me, you should get help. myself. I don't need to be up front. I can go clean the toilets. I can run to get coffee. I can do whatever because I was willing. And so we were one of the last people out last night. We got home. We had Bible study at 6 a.m, but I was up. I went to bed at 2:30 this morning. And it was like, I have caught this concept, not to mention my heart wants to.
Yeah.
Like, I want to help. I don't want my prophet. I don't want my pastor. I don't want you're a guest. I don't want you to feel like you have anything to worry about as long as I'm there. So and I'm birthing that in the people because they're seeing it. They never seen anything like this before. Their eyes, all my spiritual kids are like, wow. But this is how I got to where I was all the time. It was a servant heart.
It's God's way for all these years, but people haven't always tapped into it, but it's the way to be successful.
You heard it right here. It's the way to be successful. Bishop Edward A. Smith. Please pick up his books. Please connect with him. The Nehemiah Project right now, my heart is blazing for it, so I have to connect with him and his wife, his lovely wife of 45 years. She's absolutely amazing. Thank you for watching Supernatural Lifeline Revelations. I want to thank you for being on our show. It's been a wonderful honor. I cannot believe I got to have you on my show today. Bishop Edward A. Smith. I'm Prophetess Taryn Tarver. God bless you.